Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in with me and the trusty supervisor Bob Barker back with another build. So a friend of mine came up with the idea of putting up a pop-up coffee shop within his business. So to do that, he needed to get a mobile cart that he could put in there. So we got started, but before we could really get into it, we had to make sure that the supervisor approved of all of our plans, and luckily he did, so we could keep on moving forward. And the idea with this one is we basically just want to make a basic cabinet, have it on some casters, and have a good solid top that he's going to be able to put in some sinks later and have plenty of room down below for all of the storage for the equipment that he's going to need for it. Now, he doesn't quite have that equipment yet, so we're basically just planning ahead of time and getting this prepared for him. And so here we're just making our basic cabinet structure. We're attaching the side pieces to the front that is face down on the workbench there. And for this one, we're just going to glue and screw those, and we're using those little clamps there to keep it all 90 degrees. And of course, what we do on one side, you always got to do on the other. Now, you also notice that before we did put those dado grooves in the bottom of all of those pieces. That way, right here, when we put this bottom piece, it's going to lock in and the top is going to set right on top of that bottom, and it's going to hold it all together nice and strong. Now, of course, we're going to glue and screw this as well. That way, it's never going to go anywhere. Now, we do have plans for the outside, so all these screw holes will eventually be covered. And we actually went through a couple of different iterations of the plan, but settled on more of a rustic look. And he wanted to be involved with the build, even though he's a bit new to woodworking. So the idea also was to keep this nice and sturdy, but also keep the construction of it simple enough that way he can emulate it in the future for additional stuff and kind of get him started on that path as well. So for here, we're cutting out the shelves and we're going to put some edge banding on front of it just to protect those plywood edges. And we did that for those shelves and also for the back of the cabinet itself here. Now, we could have put in a face frame, which would have been even more durable, and it would have looked really good. But like I said, we're trying to keep this as simple as possible. And this is a trial period for him with his coffee cart, so we didn't want to go too overboard on the cost of it as well. Now, after we get the base cabinet done, we're using some spacers here to set up and keep these dividers completely square. We're going to divide it into 3 sections because he's going to have water jugs and room for the sinks that are going to go on the top, as well as some of the other equipment in there. So we're keeping one bay a little bit bigger than the other, and in the middle, we're going to end up doing some adjustable shelves. Now we're just screwing it in from the bottom, and then we did some pocket hole screws to screw it to the top because at that time we were actually planning on just having the plywood visible on the front of the cart, but that plan does change later, so we could have just screwed it in from the front as well. But after we have that in, we're going to get these supports up top, and that's going to help lock in those dividers in place, keep everything nice and rigid, as well as give us something to attach the top to later. We're going to go ahead and put that in the front and the back in all 3 compartments. And it's always good to use as many clamps as necessary to keep these pieces in place when you're doing pocket holes so it doesn't wander, and we are adding glue to all the joints for some extra support. Now here for the adjustable shelves, I just use a spacer on bottom and this little jig to drill out all the pinholes. That way he can adjust these as necessary later. He didn't know exactly how big he needs them yet because this is really just extra storage, so we're trying to give him as much flexibility as possible with the storage. And after that, the base cabinet is essentially done. It's always amazing to me that like the base of the cabinet comes together so fast, and then things tend to slow down because you have a lot more small detail work that comes after that. But the next thing we're doing here is working on the top. Now we did 3/4-inch plywood for the base cabinet, and here we're going to be doing hard maple. Now these pieces don't have straight edges, so I rip it down with the track saw to get a nice good clean edge. And of course you can clean up even further with a jointer here. And then once you have them where you need them to be, I use a domino just for alignment. You can do anything else with this, biscuits, or you can get away with just kind of hammering it using some coals to keep them in place as well. But the dominoes work really well for me. It's nice and fast. Now, you wouldn't have as much of an issue with alignment if you use the jointer to really flatten it out, but then we would have had to get much thicker wood than this, and it would have really drove up costs. So with this, the pieces are pretty straight, so we're going to be able to get this top where we need it and save a little money there. And then we can get the glue up going, and this always feels like a hectic process, although it was pretty nice to have an extra set of hands for this because I felt much more confident doing all of these pieces. To be honest, when I have this many boards that I'm joining together, I tend to do it more just in sections just because I can't always work fast enough where I'm comfortable that the glue's not going to set a little bit before we can get it in clamps. But with an extra pair of hands, it was not too bad at all. So we got all 5 of those pieces together. And I really do like these rockler clamps because they act as coals as well. So it helps keep that alignment so good and keeps it from bowing under the pressure of the clamps. Then we put one in between each joint and as many as I have across it to close up any potential gaps. Then after that dries, it's on to every woodworker's favorite part of the build, and that's sanding. And of course, before that, I used a scraper to get off any little glue residue. Now here's where an audible was called. Now originally we were going to use that black paint that I've used on other projects where you'll be able to kind of see the wood grain of the plywood coming through, so it gives a little bit of depth and just trim it out. However, he showed me an AI image that he had generated with a more rustic look. And I thought it looked really cool. So to kind of mimic that, what I decided to do is get these cedar fencing boards. And then we're just gonna, clean up all the edges. I sent them through the planer to get a nice smooth edge, well, relatively smooth edge because these come really rough. And then we threw this dark stain on them, and they actually look really good. So for here, we're gonna just basically just nail these to the front and sides of the cabinet. But there might be little gaps that shows because we're not going to keep this perfect. So we did a little stain striping just to hide any gaps, and so you don't see the bare plywood underneath. And in here, we're just basically kind of not being as precise as I normally would be because we want this to look a little rough, a little rustic. And so that's going to get us more the look that we're going for. And these boards were actually pretty darn dry. There was a couple different kinds that we could find, and some of them were actually pretty darn wet. And so there's going to be a lot of wood movement, like contraction, that's going to really open up gaps later. These ones did not seem too bad. It may open up just a little bit, but we're already planning for that, so it should come out pretty nicely. Now for the front, these aren't long enough to go all the way across, which I think is a good feature for it because we want to make it look like there are a lot of planks coming together. So we basically just did random sizes across this, and I intentionally made sure that we didn't have too many that were a similar size. And we just kept on going and really tried not to plan it and just kind of putting whatever pieces we have there, cutting them to size, and then just keep on going. Now we did run out because we didn't quite calculate as many as we need, so we're going to have to leave some of these spaces open for later, but that's fine. We still have other stuff we can get to, and now we're back to the top. So this is about 3/4 of an inch thick, but I want there to be a lip in front that makes it look beefier. Now the 3/4 of an inch is going to be plenty enough because there's a lot of support on the top, so that'll hold strong for anything that we're putting on there. But this is going to kind of give it a cleaner look transition to the cabinet itself. And so we're basically just cutting off a piece on all of these edges, and then we're going to book match it and glue it together. So that's going to make it look like it's a much thicker piece than it actually is. Now, I've done this before with really good results, like on the build that I did for my wife with her built-in DJ station / storage that we did in her office. Even to this day, you can't even tell that gap is there. So basically, we put a good thick glue line all the way across, and I have pretty much every clamp that I have ready next to it, and I just go through there one at a time, check the gaps, make sure everything kind of closes up nicely, and keep it relatively aligned. Now with this, it doesn't have to be perfectly aligned because I am going to come through and clean it up afterwards. So you get a little bit of wiggle room with it. And I usually do the sides first and then I do the edges because if you're going to have a little potential line that shows, I'd rather have it be on the edges. Now here it shows how nicely it cleans up when the glue is dry. It pretty much looks like one solid piece. So we're going to clean up all 4 edges with that, and then we can move on to the finish work on this top piece. But before we did that, we didn't actually go through and get the rest of the boards that we needed. And the coloration is a little bit different with this one, which actually works really well with this kind of just thrown together rustic look that we're going for. A few more knot holes here or there, just kind of gives it a little bit more nice variability, some extra character. And then after that, we're back to the detail work on the top. So we basically want to clean up everything, get a bit of a round over on all the edges, including those corners, just to soften those up a little bit. Then we can move on to the stain. Now we did a lighter stain for the inside and the top compared to the front, just to add some contrast. But you can see there, it kind of goes together pretty nicely. And I like the little bit of the variability that you get trying to stain the hard maple, because it works really well with the rustic vibe that we're going for. And so then the last piece on the cabinet is just the toe kick. Now for this one, we actually intentionally made it a little bit small because, like I said, this needs to be a mobile cart. We're gonna hide in a few casters within this that's gonna stick out just below it. So it's still gonna look like it's kind of built in, even though it's on casters. And then we're gonna put some of them just behind the toe kick on the back of the cabinet. That way you can lock those or unlock those to get it in place. Next up is getting some protection on the outer edges. So what we decided to do is a polyurethane on the front of the cabinet. So I just used this roller just to kind of get it all nice and even all around. Now I found, like with the roller, you can get some tiny air bubbles, but you just kind of do a little bit of a quick roll, like twice, and then it all cleans up really nice. I did 3 coats of that with a little bit of sanding in between. Then we can get ready to attach the top, and I'm drilling oversized holes. That way when we do the screws in there later, it's going to have some room for wood movement. Then this is the part that I was most worried about in this whole build. I've never done this type of epoxy before, which you can probably tell, and I would not copy anything that I have done with this epoxy pour. But we just got some Total Boat epoxy, mixed it up, and just flooded the top with it, tried to drip it over the sides. Use the heat gun to pop any bubbles. And it actually came out pretty decent. It's definitely not perfect. There's a few dips in there. But for my first time ever doing this, it actually came out really nicely, except for the sides, which just had drips and unevenness like crazy. So I ended up having to go through, sand that down, and I just grabbed a foam brush and flooded those sides with another layer of the epoxy. And then after that, it actually came out pretty well. You can see there, yeah, not perfect, but it's pretty darn decent. I kind of learned a lot about working with the epoxy, so I think next time I can do a lot better. But of course, if you got some extra tips for me, leave them in the comments. I am all ears with that. So now we're into the home stretch. We're getting those casters placed in, as well as the toe kick that we mentioned before. Now you can see there, these are the ones that are going to be facing the back of the cabinet, and I'm intentionally making sure these can rotate all 360 degrees, and the locking mechanism comes off the back, so you can just easily get that with your foot. And these ones, I'm also placing them where they still have 360 degree movement, and these ones we're just going to leave permanently unlocked. So with that done, we can actually put it up on its rollers and attach the top. So we just threw it in place, and I just drew out those holes where that's going to go. And very carefully, we put in some screws here, making sure that we didn't go through the top. And then we can put that right back on and just screw it in place, and making sure we use some washers. And like I said, there's extra room in those holes. So for that front to back wood movement, it's not going to cause any issues later on down the line. Now, overall, this was a really fun build, and I think it came out looking great. I can't wait till he gets the sinks and the equipment so we can finish that up at another time. But you can see here, it moves really easily on its own, so that's going to be nice and functional for him. And for me on a personal note, it was really nice to be able to get back into the workshop and do another build. So I hope you guys like what we're doing. If you do, please subscribe, give us a like, give me some comments below, whatever you can do to help the channel, and we'll see you guys in the next build.